Some basic steps to follow. First, you need to inspect the area that you're going to clean. Then you identify the point of entry, and that's the way the water flows to that storm sewer system, whether it be the ditch, whether it be a storm drain on site. Then you're going to need to protect it. You're going to have to put some kind of barrier there, such as assorbent booms, socks, mats, whatever it is to keep the pollutants from going into that storm sewer system, which eventually goes out to the bayous. And there are some basic steps you can follow. Again, you protect the inlet. Can't say it enough. Protect the storm inlet. And remember, water mixed with chemicals or detergents is not allowed to enter into the storm sewer system. And again, that's talking about anything that is biodegradable. A lot of people we go to, well, it's environmental friendly, it's biodegradable. No, because again, when you mix it or it comes in contact with oil, grease, or anything else, it changes the chemical composition of that soap or whatever it is that you're using that you claim that cleanser. So don't do it. Nothing goes into the storm sewer system again but storm water. And here you can go and get the cosmetic wash guidelines. I don't know if they gave you those, but that's the website that you can go to and get the information. Is it in their packet? It's in your packet. And this is my contact information. I'm there. And I have cards in the back. And if you don't want to talk to me, any one of these guys that stood up, you can get to them through me. Any questions?
So business owners in Houston, if they do not discharge into the storm system, are not required to have these permits at all, correct?
If you do not discharge into the storm sewer system, no, you do not need a permit. But is it associated with your activity? What are you doing that it will not go into the storm? Where are you sending it? Are you sending it to the sanitary? So how are you going to do that? Okay, so you're getting a transporter to come in and vacuum out whatever it is. Then you don't need a permit. All right. Any other questions? Yes, sir. I feel like a talk show host.
If you're doing vertical wall cleaning and it flows into, you're not using any chemicals, it flows into natural landscaping, is that acceptable? It's not being introduced into any kind of storm drains?
When you talk about vertical cleaning, what do you mean? The walls? What's on the walls? Then it's not acceptable. Dirt can't go in either. I mean, dirt contains some type of pollutant as well. Yes. Then it's okay.
You see on a lot of construction sites, they have the silt fence and hay bales and that kind of stuff. If you were to wash a building, could you put the same things in the stormwater drain so only water went in? If it stopped, if you had oil socks and hay bales and everything, to where if it was just water going into a stormwater drain, would that be acceptable?
Yes, as I reiterate, Yes, if you protect the storm inlets and you have some type of permeable protection there where water goes through but it keeps the pollutants out, then it's okay.
I am one of the ones that was ticketed for allowing water down the storm drain several months ago. And was told by the officer who ticketed me that what you just said, I am not allowed to do. Because I am allowing something other than rain down the storm drain, according to your law. Because I was ready to purchase permeable filters and asked him, and he said, quote, I don't know how to make it any more plain to you, but nothing down the drain but rain. So if you're saying I can use permeable filters, then I don't need a reclaim system. Correct?
What were you discharging? Pressure washing.
Okay, before we pressure wash the parking lot, okay, the permeable is not going to handle all three.
Okay, the problem's going to be that those filters you're talking about aren't going to handle the oil and grease issues. Even the oil socks are not going to be enough. But now we're getting into the new stuff. If there's any oil and grease like that, the socks themselves are not going to cover that.
If you do what you have to do, no sheet, nothing, quite all.
You want to handle it?
Okay, parking lots, parking garages, service stations, you cannot let any of that water enter into the storm sewer system. Whatever vehicles are, and you want to try to pressure wash that water, is definitely not going into the storm sewer system, period.
Okay, let me go back and make sure. Everything is on a case-by-case basis. Nothing is written in stone. If the city, again, as I said, deems that it's a pollutant, then you are in violation. You are in violation if the city deems that that is a pollutant and you are carrying pollutants into the stormwater system. So it's case by case, and if you got a citation for that, then the officer felt that you were doing
and this is a complicated mess. I mean, you can try doing booms and all these other things, and if we came back behind and tested, and it was, and you had the oil and grease, which we normally found, we tried testing this with different companies, and we find that it's going through, bam, you get ticketed, or fine on whichever way they're going. Okay, the easiest way and the most protective way that we do this is tell you no, nothing to the storm sewer. That protects you. Okay? Because you can take all these chances, but is it worth winding up getting hit with a $500 ticket down, or getting hit with a violation under state law from us? You're paying thousands of dollars over instead of just stopping. The best way to take it, I mean, we've done a lot of tests, especially with the power washing industry and the one company on 290 that supplies a lot of, we did a lot of testing with them on different methods, and wound up with every time, just about every time, we got a violation. Even with all the stuff that they were doing. If in the efforts they did to allow permeative material to let the stuff go through, almost every time there's a violation. So even they, to the point they say, tell them no, not to do it, period. Because it's too big a gamble for you. If you go with the standard of nothing but storm water goes to the storm, you're playing safe. Okay, that's the best advice I can give. If you want to try all those other things until you roll the dice, I think you're going to wind up spending as much money, if not more, trying all these other things than you would if you just suck it up. And you got to set the disposal one. I really don't. There was one more hand back here. Yes, sir.
I just know whenever I came from you, briefly touch over a discharge permit and a state registration for stormwater discharge? Not a permit, just a registration. I mean, because you told everybody they don't have to have a permit to discharge.
Well, a permit allows you to do something. Now, registration, what are you registering?
If I'm not mistaken, don't you have to register for like, you have equipment outside, and it range of the register for TCQ, stormwater discharge?
Come up, I can't hear you back there. Now, again, permit allows you to do something. A registration is just saying it's like your car is registered. Like your grit trap and your grease trap and your lint trap, they're registered. That does not allow you to do anything.
For stormwater discharge, my question to you is, do you have to have a registration with the TCQ for stormwater discharge?
A registration? But what are you registering?
Registering facility that you have equipment outside, maybe rusting, maybe not.
That's when you file your NEC or your NOI, and that will determine whether you need a permit. That determines if you need a permit. If you're storing stuff outside that could carry contaminants out to the storm sewer, through your stormwater discharges. Yeah, that's a permit. That's part of the permit process. But a registration does not allow you to do anything. So, no, you don't need a registration. You need to find out if you need a permit. And then you would file an NOI or an NEC. NOI is notice of intent. This is what you plan to do. And then the NEC is saying, no, I don't have any equipment out there that's going to carry off pollutants to the stormwater, so that you can file for a no exposure, an NEC certification, but it's not a permit.
Even though you're not releasing through your processes of your industrial facility to the drainage, you still have to submit that, not registration, I gotta call it registration, but you have to file that particular to get the exemption.
Yes, you have to file to get the exemption. Any other questions? I don't mean to confuse anyone, but again, as Officer Dicker said, to be on the safe side, and I can really say it over and over, nothing leaves your property but stormwater. If you're not sure of what you need to do, call us. You can call the city, you can call HPD, say this is what I want to do, can I do this? Because again, each situation is different. But we already stated that, and TCEQ is coming up, and they have the permit, and it can tell you everything you need in that book, this book right here. It's called the general permit. And if you're subject, you can look in here and find out if you need a stormwater permit. You can go on TCEQ's website. But Cynthia Williams is here, and she will be talking with you about that. Because normally we would refer you to TCEQ anyway, that's the state. Any other questions? Yes, sir.
This is specifically for mobile contractors. If you're washing a commercial building or a commercial property and you block your storm drain and you put your oil socks down, you've collected the water, polished it, can you discharge that water back into a landscape area? No. What do you do?
No, you cannot discharge it back. You need to take it to the proper disposal site, a pre-treatment system. When that water is cleaned up, then it will be just put back into the environment. No, you can't do it, or you need to get someone to come in and vacuum it up, a transporter who can transport it to a proper disposal site.